Evening guys, and welcome to the Fantasy Panda YouTube channel, where we're here to talk about all things fantasy sports. We're going to really focus on FPL, F1 and NFL tonight. There'll be a big section on FPL. It's been about 6 weeks since my last video. It was a hectic schedule and a lot going on, and there's been a lot of game weeks and an international break in between that as well. Speaking of international break, I've just looked at the news a second ago, and the fine come out for Bulgaria after the racial abuse against England players, and nothing short of a disgrace, really. 65 grand, and I think it wasn't a get 2 game stadium ban, but one of them was suspended. So what's an empty stadium going to do for one game? Really, it hurts the away fans. I was planning to go out to Croatia last year. We couldn't go as an England fan because it was behind closed doors, and you think, well, is it really fair on them fans? So our trip was cut short to just Seville, which fortunately was fantastic. So yeah, I think it's a disgrace, and UEFA have missed a chance really to make a case out of Bulgaria. But you know, what can you do? And until they really buckle up and grow some balls and go with it, you kind of fight a losing battle. So shame on them. Since the last video, it's 6 weeks since FPL. There's been a lot going on. I think I played my wildcard in that time. But I won't go all the way back. I'll go back to 9. I'll do game week 9. I'll do game week 10 last week, and I'll preview 11, and then I'll show my change of season really since the wildcard. I'm coming from 4.3 million all the way back down to the top million now. It's a long road, and I'll talk about that in a second, but that's a bit of a preview of where we're going to take this video today. At the end, we'll talk a little bit about F1 after FPL, because it's 3 races left now and it's getting crunch time. I'm hoping for a top 1k finish. I'm about 300 places out at the moment. I'm 30th in my favourite team, and I'm winning the Fantasy Panda F1 League, so that's a bit of a relief really. Hopefully I can win that league. NFL, obviously there's a bit more clued of NFL Fantasy. There's a lot of viewers on here that do FPL and NFL, and it's all draft based. So yeah, I had a bit of a touch base. One week I got 185 points in one league, and the next week I got 64. Same players, so I'll cover that after FPL. But yeah, NFL makes you shake your head sometimes, but just as much as FPL does, if not more. So yeah, just going to talk about game week 9, which is up on the screen to the right here. This is the week really where I felt I had a bit of luck. I always say you've got to be patient with players. You know, you've got to look at a 5 or 6 week period, and I've talked about that in the past, where don't just react, and then get disappointed. You bring a player in and it goes wrong after 1 week. For me, Robertson was the main one. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Robertson at the start, and Liverpool weren't keeping clean sheets, and I was very against playing 5 at the back, and it kind of proved right. But what my proof was kind of getting to was have one and stick with one. Because over the season, there'll be 20-point difference between Trent and Robertson, or 30 points. But if you just keep trying to chop and change them, you're probably going to get less than the 2 combined in terms of the way it is. So just take the rough with the smooth. And for me, Robertson kind of came up trumps the last couple of weeks in those games. Obviously, Willy Bolly, with a bit of hindsight, you know, Connor Cody should have cleared that ball against Southampton. He didn't. Southampton, Danny Ings, give him half a chance he's going to score. That takes a clean sheet away. Then obviously he breaks his ankle on Saturday before the Newcastle game. And I believe Wolves are much better with Bolly. Without him, I would not be looking at Wolves players at the back. So that he's already out of my team, but I'll preview that in a bit. Rico. He's become a bit of a magician at 4 million. Obviously, he takes corners, he gets down that wing, gets bonus points. So that 8 points was probably massive, and I've always kept with him, and I kept playing him. I think it was Southampton on a Friday night they played, and he took a corner and they scored. And I think you're going to get a few yellow cards, you're going to get a few 1 points or 2 points, but if you can just get these 8 points when people drop him, because they feel, you know, they put him on the bench or whatever. There's a lot of people had him on the bench this week and the week after, and they just help. They just kind of guide you through. They kind of just give you a little bit of a green arrow on those points, because people try and guess it too much. Edison, obviously, I missed the keeper, but Edison, as you know, I set and forget my keeper, and he's obviously the top scoring keeper, so that's absolutely been ticked off perfect. Loughton for Burnley. Yeah, he come off the bench. Obviously, Salah was injured, so I didn't fancy their fixture at all, but I didn't realise Salah and Mahrez both wouldn't feature at all, so he was on the bench as like 2nd or 3rd fodder. Hasn't worked, is what it is. Daniel James keeps rocking up the assists, and Mason Mount with another 3. Yeah, it was quite a quiet week, but you get the clean sheet bonus point, you'll take that. But here's the main man at the moment, and that's Jack Grealish. So, going back to what I said about Robertson, sticking with players, obviously John McGinn was the man. Keep with John McGinn. John McGinn's this, But I kind of thought, well, Grealish last season was fantastic, just as good. You know, fantastic player, can get in the box, will get assists, will get goals, and will do things that will accumulate BPS. So I stuck with him, and I kept with him, and this week, you know, obviously he had that assist taken out against Crystal Palace when he was done for diving, which was an absolute scandal. But this was the week when you thought, yeah, you've done, you know, you've sussed it. You know, I think McGinn had a goal ruled out by VAR the same week. So yeah, you can argue there's a little bit of luck here and there. But Grealish getting that 13 points was absolutely massive, and I think that was the difference. When you look at the average of 37 to my 54, Grealish was the difference, which gave me, I think it was a million jump OR, so green arrow, so fantastic to keep with it. And you know the next week he's probably going to get one, but you just got to weigh up the fixtures and weigh up the balance of what you want. Aubameyang, 4, you know, I'll get onto him in a second when I go to the preview for game week 11, and Haller's starting to become a bit costly, you know, he's not getting involved with goals at the moment, but you got to fight fires. Willy Bolly gets injured, you know. I was looking to get Haller out, wasn't sure who for, but I've got to keep putting that in the back burner. But fortunately, I've got Newcastle at home, so I've got another week where I can just hope that he can get some points over you know, if he can get a 10-point or 11-point game, you're looking at 15 over 3, an average of 5 instead of 6 over 3, which is an average of 2. So hopefully he can do something this weekend to kind of just level his average out. Obviously, Salah being injured was irrelevant. Wasn't, you can't, you know, one of those things, you put him in, you hope he can play, and then when he's not on the team sheet, what can you do? You can't control that, so there's no point moaning about it. There's no point getting salty about it. There's no point moaning on Twitter. There's no point saying, oh, well, hard luck. It is what it is. It's done. He's not playing. So yeah, that was my game week 9. I won't cover that too much now. I'll just get rid of that and go to game week 10. So that's gone. Game week 10. So here's game week 10. Same points again. Little close to average. Edison was my highest scorer. My goalkeeper was the highest scorer. How many people were captain their keeper? But yeah, he got 9 points. Obviously, he made quite a few saves. I think it was one more save away from getting 10 points. So you absolutely take your keeper getting 9. Robertson with 2, but they look dangerous in fullbacks. They look dangerous. You just got to like I said, just stick with one. Loughton again come off the bench because of Bolly. I didn't fancy their fixture again, Burnley against Chelsea. But I think if you can keep a Burnley player active, a lot of people have Pope. If you keep a Burnley active in your squad, and if he comes in off the bench, I think you'd be more than happy over the season what points they will get, whether it's Tarkowski, Loughton, Peters. I think Peters got a few bookings, so Charlie Taylor may come back before long. So yeah, it's one to keep an eye on the Burnley side. I think you've just got to keep managing and flipping. And obviously when the auto sub comes in, unfortunately there's 2 auto subs for 2 zeros, but he got 6 the week before, and I think there'll be a few times this season when he will be on the bench. But I haven't got to worry about it. I haven't got to manipulate or waste a transfer. I can manipulate the 5 I've got at the back, or 4 as it stands without Bolly. And I can manipulate the scenario so I can play 3 at the back easy enough, more than happy going forward. Rico again, I mentioned Rico a second ago, just tucked away with another 5 points. Obviously I think he got booked, which took him out the BPS, but you're still getting 5 points from a 4.2 off. I got him at 4, but he's now 4.2, 4.3 million defender in the future. Absolutely delighted with that. And then obviously got the big Leicester man. I think he's fantastic, by the way. What a signing he's been. 6 points. Friday night, Disney. You know, if someone said to me Friday night, you got one Leicester player and you get a clean sheet, you got 6 points, I'd have been delighted. As we all know, well, Southampton, Bertrand, someone in my league, in my cash league, has him on the bench. So I don't know if he'd come on. I need to check, but that was -6. -6. I've never seen anything that high. So yeah. 9-0, Southampton are a disgrace. So I put a tweet out how much money the weekly wages of 750 grand for the players, that is. That's no coaching staff, no scouting staff, nothing else. No CEOs who are on big money. And to give every fan back in that stadium 30 quid, not including the away fans, would have been 900 grand. So 150, but they gave 1 day's wage to Saints Foundation. 1 day. I think it's appalling, really. And Housen was saying it was just a bad day at the office. I think he needs his head screwed on. You can't lose 9-0 at home in any league, any time. Away at Man City, I think it happened to Watford. You know, sometimes you hold your hands up and say, well, you know, you're playing the best team in the attacking football in the world. Fair enough. But not at home on your own ground, 9-0. It can't happen. You've got to show some fight. You've got to do something about it. And I think it took him 70 minutes to bring another defender on after Bertrand. So, appalling. I think he's going to get the sack before long. Salah, we all bowed out on Salah. Yes, for me, it was a penalty. Liverpool were the better team and I think they deserve to win. But yeah, I got bailed out on that captain choice. A lot of people questioned me on Twitter saying why I didn't have De Bruyne. David Silva saved me for that. Or should I say the Premier League saved me that, because it was clearly for me De Bruyne's goal. If Silva did touch it, it's offside surely for Sterling in front of keeper's eye line. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, and I've got away with a 2-point better off difference. Mason Mount keeps ticking along. Pulisic obviously was absolutely outstanding. I raved about it when they signed him, saying he'd be a great signing, just the way he plays. And a few weeks ago I was looking at him thinking, he's been involved for the play before the goal, so in FPL looked a bit irrelevant. But once he kind of broke that line, he looked dangerous. Got the perfect hat trick, left foot, right foot header. But Mason Mount is adding points. If you get a 6 million player, like I said about Grealish in the last game week, you can just keep tucking away with your 5s and your 6s. It allows, hopefully, your captain choices to kind of boost you forward. Which I haven't hit the nail. I've got a few 7s. Last week I blanked with Aubameyang after the Salah vice. Salah captain with Aubameyang vice. But if I can just crack that captain, I'm saying this because a lot of Twitter saying the same. A lot of FPL players are saying the same. The captain choices are the things that let them down. But my last 2 scores have been Edison and Grealish, which you wouldn't captain, so you can't feel down about that. Salah, there's going to be a week where Aubameyang or Salah's going to go bang, and if you can combine them with your Mounts, your Jameses, your Ricos, your Grealishes, I haven't decided my transfer for Bolly will be. I think it will be Tomori. I think I may have put a selection up on there on the next preview. If you can combine some clean sheets with some of them assist points, next thing you know, you're looking at 60-point weeks, and if you can keep going for 65, 70-point weeks, and that and average it out at 60, so when you have a few bad ones at 40, if you average 60, you will climb your mini league, you will climb your OR, and you'll be more than happy with which way you're going. And Daniel James, once again, like I said, assist bonus. For me, it wasn't a penalty. He jumped into the Norwich player, so maybe it was a bit of retribution that Rashford missed that penalty. Tim Krul, by the way, massive FPL haul. I haven't seen him in any teams. And James has been a good contributor. And I think he may go under the radar now. Martial's back, and I think a lot of people will plough onto Martial. Rightly so. He's out of position playing forward. He's not that much money when you can buy him with other players. But I'm just going to keep with Daniel James because I've got a bit of money invested in him, and it allows me a bit more flexibility elsewhere. Aubameyang with another blank, but I won't talk about that. And Haller another blank. I've already talked about that, so I'll talk about that in the preview in a minute for next game week. Obviously, Willy Bolly broke his ankle, which was a big shame. Wolves are worse off without him by far, but he's obviously going to be transferred out. And Grealish and Greenwood. Grealish obviously was never going to play away at Man City, and Greenwood is just fodder on the bench. So I'll get rid of game week 10. So that gave me another green arrow, big jump, and it was quite an enjoyable week with the Edison and Rico scenarios. And considering Sterling getting 11 and Vardy party and all you want to call it, and Perez and all those scenarios, Ben Chilwell, who I think should be England's starting left back, all them boys hauling. I expected worse. I thought the average would be a lot higher. I'm looking on it, it's just 49. I was expecting to be a lot higher. So when you say if you can get 8 points above average every week, especially in my scenario where you're at 4.2 at one stage, and you have the worst start you've ever had, and I talk about a long way, I'm gonna keep climbing. And I'm gonna just keep taking each week as it comes. I ain't gonna sit here and say I must get top 10k or this, because this is games you could go and get 3 red cards next week, season over. So I won't worry about long term. I just literally worry week by week, and if you can keep progressing 8 points past average, you'd be more than happy with where you're going. So I'm just going to quickly preview game week 11. So here's game week 11. Apparently I was on my maps on the phone at the time when I did the app. Just quickly, I screenshot off the app because I was on the move today. I wasn't by a computer, so I just screenshot the app and then literally Dropbox it straight into my computer, ready for OBS. Sorry. So yeah, next week's game. Pardon me. You got Edison in goal, obviously set to get Southampton at home. I was tempted to bring another City defender in, but who? With the Liverpool game coming up, etc. I thought, do I want to then have 3 City? 1 goal, and then your game week is ruined. Obviously, Kyle Walker was ruining my game weeks a couple of weeks ago because he was getting brought off at 53 minutes or he wasn't playing. I think I had 2 1-point Kyle Walker weeks. So yeah, I've gone for Loughton. I think it's going to be 5 versus 5. I think Burnley, Sheffield United is going to be a very similar, very tough old game at the weekend. And Sheffield United, for me, are due a game where they don't score. Just look at the stats. So I'm taking a gamble that Loughton can do something. Also, with his crossing ability, with a big centre forwards in the middle, I'm going to take the gamble that he returns. Even if they concede, hopefully gets an assist. So I'm looking for around 3 or 4 points. The big man for Leicester, I won't even try and pronounce his name. Crystal Palace away, it could be one of those games they either win 3-0 or they lose 3-0. Their record against Palace is poor, but I fancy his chances to do something. I know he's going to start, so that's probably the key reason starting him in there. Tomori, what an excellent player he's been, by the way. I think he starts every week now for Chelsea. Watford obviously bottom of the league. You've got to start a Chelsea player at bottom of the league. It's guaranteed. It has to happen. Robertson at Villa, Liverpool, this is the league leaders away at Aston Villa. If you don't start Robertson, you're never going to start him. Obviously, I just spoke about Chelsea away. Mount, I think Mount has to play in every single game. Unless you had maybe against Man City or one of them options. But Mason Mount against Watford away, I think you're going to get a return somewhere along the line. So whether it's just you get another 6, it's definitely going to happen. De Bruyne, Southampton, he's potentially going to be my captain. I haven't taken off Salah as of yet. I just feel Salah Hall's coming. It's been a long time. There's just going to be a day, he had a few chances against Tottenham, he just didn't take for whatever reason. He hit it straight at the keeper, or it was a nice height for him. So there's going to be a day, and you want to be on. I remember last year, I think he scored 4 at Bournemouth, or he did something, a massive haul at Bournemouth, and it was kind of out of nowhere. Miles on Mane all the last season, but there's going to be a haul, so I just don't want to miss it. So De Bruyne, yes, it's Southampton at home, but as we showed Villa, take that cross out of it. Where was his points coming from? I don't know. I haven't watched the full game back yet, but I don't know. It's one of the two. I think I'm going to stick with Salah if he's fit. I think he is fit. I think he trained today. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Salah. And I hope, fingers crossed, that the haul comes. Daniel James, Bournemouth. You've got to fancy United to get something at Bournemouth. Whether they score 1 or 2, they may lose the game. You don't know with Man United. But Bournemouth, for me, haven't been as impressive, and they don't seem to kick on around this time of year. They sort of come back again around January, so I'll wait and see on that. Aubameyang, Wolves. Here's another option. With Bolly out, I was thinking, will Aubameyang get more freedom? Obviously, when he's out a bit wider with a Lacazette through the middle, the threat seems taken away. But I think Wolves will still try to go for something at the Emirates. So I think Aubameyang may not blank this week. I think there'll be a chance for him in behind a little bit more, especially if they have the fullbacks going really high down with chore, etc. If Arsenal can win that and counter quickly, I think there'll be a 3v3 at the back, and there will be a chance for Aubameyang and Lacazette to have a return. And like I said about Haller, it's going a bit costly, but Newcastle at home is too good to be true. I said that last week about Sheffield United. I think he's due something, but this is literally, here's your chance, and you give me a few points at the start of the season. I captained you against Norwich. You've got to do something now, or it's goodbye. So we'll see how that goes. And Rico's a tough one on the bench. I can see Man United scoring, and with his yellow card, with yellow cards, players, tricky Man United players. I just thought this week I'd put him as first sub and let it be. Obviously, Grealish against Liverpool. I don't fancy them to score at all against Liverpool, so I'll leave them there. So that's my game week 11 team as it stands. Obviously, I've got a few days where injuries may happen in the League Cup. For me, I won't be watching the League Cup tonight. You've got to have a rest from football somewhere. And the League Cup, for me, should really be abolished. I think they will take it out of the game in the next 5 years, maybe a little bit longer. So, yeah, just going to preview. I'm just going to preview that fixture there. So, yeah, that's it. Just looking to next... Sorry, where's it gone? It's over there. So, yeah, just looking forward to the end of the month. We obviously have a new manager in a month. So if you watch these videos in the Fantasy Panda League, please check my Twitter, because I've put out for 2 people prizes, and they've one got back to me and he's done. He's had his prize, fantastic. But the other one I can't even find. This is the league as it stands. You've got scores of 633 and 632 leading the league. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Some massive scores out there. I'm just hoping that these people are keeping track of all their leagues, etc., because they're missing out on some prizes, and must be some incredible official ranks with these guys. Just got hopefully they keep it going. So yeah, I am quite a way off that. I think I'm nearly 80 points as it stands off that. Manchester is blue, maybe a little bit more, maybe 90. Incredible scores, really. So yeah, if you see your name on there, fantastic. Give me a shout. Give me a shout if your name is on there, because I'll be able to track where you're going. And for the manager in a month, if you've climbed and you've climbed, you're probably in for a chance of manager in a month. So just give me a shout out if you see your name on that right hand side just before it goes. I'll hold it up for a few more seconds. Don't recognise any of the names on there. No. But if you are on Twitter and you do see your name on there, let me know, please. That'd be fantastic. So just get rid of that. I'm just going to bring up the wildcard. So since I have my wildcard, I had a few people ask me, I'm on the wildcard, when do I activate it? How do I activate it? And for me, it got to the stage where my team was struggling. And I knew they were struggling, so it was time it had to be made, You can tell from my OR, I started really badly. I think previous videos have shown Bernardo Silva, etc. not play, and certain scenarios where it just went a bit wrong. So I played my wildcard in game week 4. Sorry, pardon me. Oh, bloody hell. Fucking hell, sorry. I played my wildcard in game week 4. And since then, it's literally been green arrows, green arrows, green arrows. The reason I played it was because you need to get informed players. There was trends setting up with certain teams. Obviously, I never saw Watford doing as bad as they were going to do, and I had Troy Deeney. So there was a time when you think, right, I have to do something, and something has to change very quickly. And that's when you play, for me, that's when you play your wild card. Not your free hit, but your wild card. And you've got to kind of eat a bit of humble pie and say I was wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong, because if we're all right, every single person would be in the top 10k, and you can't have that because there's only 10,000 spots. So you've got to eat a bit of humble pie. You've got to lose a bit of team value. You will gain it back as it goes. I ain't first on team value too much as some people. Yes, people say, yeah, but you get 2.5 million more to spend on certain players. Well, usually you buy on the same players that people have already got, so it's not too much the end of the world for me. I last year didn't even look at the team value. It literally just took over itself, and every single person I saw had massive team value on the opening page were nowhere near an official rank. They were absolutely nowhere near. They literally just bop, bop, bop. For me, the algorithm's a bit broke as well. I don't understand how these prices go up and down. And obviously, the Kevin De Bruyne scenario when he was injured, up, never came down, and went up again. Mahrez was literally straight up and down. So I think, there's a bit of a clarity required in that, but also for me it doesn't affect my game too much because I'm working on a weekly basis with an eye on 4 weeks, so I'm not too fussed if they up at 0.1 and down at 0.1 because there's always floating money in the bank in reserve. So yeah, so when I play my wildcard, obviously look at the rank. Still makes me feel a bit ill. 4.39 million in the world was when I played it. So after game week 3, I thought, I'm not going anywhere. I've gone backwards since game week 1. I need to do something sharpish. So I played my wild card, and obviously I've jumped 1 million places. Obviously my rank there for the game week was 881,000, which when you're that far back makes a massive difference. And it was kind of the sign of the right direction. It was times where I kind of think, I'm back on track, I've got back informed players, I haven't got to try and fight fires, I haven't got to try and move 3 or 4 players, which I didn't want to do all summer. All summer I had a plan, and it didn't work. So instead of trying to be too brave with it, obviously I had the Spurs defender Alderweireld. Look how bad they've been. No one. They were just in the Champions League final a few months previously. So this is why we love this game. It's frustrating as it can be, and yes, everyone wants to be in the top 10k, everyone wants to be in the top 1,000, everyone wants to win it. You're not going to happen. You just take your own game for the merits it's on, and get something out of it. If you're 4 million in the world, try and become 3 million in the world. Try and become 2 million in the world. Just don't start throwing your toys out the pram or quitting. Look at the next 5 places in your mini league and just try and attack them. That's what I try and do, and it's kind of brought me all there back up to 977,000. Yes, it's not ideal. Yes, it's not the perfect season. It's game week 11. Loads of time to enjoy it. So I won't be losing any sleep on where I'm going. I'm just going to keep trying to push forward and see where it takes me. I saw a lot bigger ORs this time of last year finishing the top 5k. So just take each week on its own merits and just keep driving forward, and it will naturally look after itself. So yeah, the wildcard, play it when you feel it's right, and have a multiple look around going forward from there. Just going to quickly bring up the funniest comment I've seen on FPL this season. One of my friends, I'm going to win it at an absolute canter. Like Frankel, who's world famous racehorse, if you're not sure who that is. I'll be compared to the rest of the league. People want to breed me for further successful FPL players and charge a whack at stud. That for me is one of the best messages I've had about FPL. I won't tell you where he is in the world, I won't tell you where he is in the league, and I won't tell you who it is. He'll have a little giggle to himself about how funny that is. Fantastic. I'll just bring the preview back up as I talk about quickly there. Okay, so yeah, basically that's it for FPL, where I'm at, where I'm captaining, all my decisions about the wild card, about all the algorithms of prices and all the little things really. I haven't really gone into too much depth because I've talked about 3 game weeks. So yeah, all the best for the game week. I hope everyone does well. If you've got any questions, just fire away on Twitter or send me a message, it'd be perfect. I'm just going to go on to F1 really quickly. I won't bring my F1 team up on the side because it's irrelevant really. But all I will say about F1 at the moment is Alex Albon. If you haven't got Alex Albon before the price jump in the summer and he's not your turbo driver, you will not be going anywhere because the guy's on fire. He's a bit of a cheat code. Obviously, he moved teams from Toro Rosso to Red Bull, and yeah, if you haven't got him as your turbo driver, you're missing out on 50 odd points every single week without fail. My mate Carlos Sainz has been doing brilliant, but last 3 weeks kind of dropped off. But this week, he made 8 points, probably with the difference between cracking that top 1.5 instead of sticking around 4. Russell obviously 13 beat his teammate Kubica. Hamilton won the race. Like, straight away you're looking at 45 points, and he beat Bottas. Mercedes and Constructor was 75, so it's all very similar. Problem with F1 Fantasy is if some of you do play, it is a bit repetitive. I had one bad game week 1. If I crack game week 1 as well as I have the last 11 or 12 or 15 weeks, whatever it now, I could be winning this thing. I'm not lying. I'm literally 180 points off the lead, and I whacked out game week 1 just like FPL. Whacked it out. If I sorted it right out, I could literally be winning it, and that's what's so annoying, literally. But you know, with F1, the variables, once you've got it right, you can't change them. It's very hard to change it. So if you don't get it right from this literally 1 week, it's not like FPL where you've got all these different players. You've only got a certain amount of drivers. You've only got a certain amount of money. It's a bit boring to an extent if you're not competing. If you're competing like I am, it's brilliant because you can literally just have to make one change in 4 weeks, and you can eye which track you know you're gonna take an aim at. Like I've got an aim for Brazil after the miracle race next week. But yeah, it can get a little bit repetitive and a little bit boring if you're way behind. But when you're in the lead, it's great fantasy sport. They just need to try and find a way to immerse the whole game, and so everyone's involved. So they're just like the top 1%. But yeah, if someone said to me I can get a top 1% in F1 or a top 1% in FPL in the space of 6 months, I'll be absolutely delighted, and it's looking that way. So fingers crossed I can finish over the line in 3 races time where I am now. Ironically, I think I'm 55 places ahead in the world in F1 there I was when I finished FPL last season. So yeah, if they both finish on 14.08, we'll have to change my number or something to 14.08. NFL, just moving on to NFL. Literally, yeah, I've had some weeks where I've got 180. I've had some weeks where I've got 70 with the same team. Mike Evans obviously is a bit of a cheat code. 1 week he gets 2, next week he gets 0, and 2 weeks he gets 44. Jameis Winston, I went to the game at Spurs with Buccaneers Panthers. Spurs Stadium was absolutely incredible, by the way, for an NFL game. Absolute top draw. And yeah, Jameis Winston got minus 12 points in terms of fumbles and interceptions, but still got 20 odd points. If he can sort them out fantasy-wise, he'd be absolute gold, especially for Mike Evans and Godwin. But Godwin has been a cheat code. I hate to say the word cheat code again, but yeah, the amount of catch he's been getting. Unfortunately, I don't have him, but I've had him, Winston, and Evans. When it all goes right, you'd win every week. But I traded Phelan for Keenan Allen this week, and obviously Phelan didn't play, and Keenan Allen was on a snap count, but still got 12 and dropped one for a touchdown. But fortunately, I was already 40 points ahead going into that. So that's in one of my leagues, and then another league, I think it was Juju Smith-Schuster won me that game week last night with 21 points. I was 15 behind. So yeah, he scored 21 with a touchdown, great leap and grab over a defender for a touchdown, which gave me the win for that and put me back to 500 and 4-4. But in the Fantasy Panda League, Barkley being injured, and I had a few injuries in that. I won this week. I had a bit of a free game because someone dropped out the league and didn't let anyone know. I deleted him off the league, but ESPN won't let me add someone in. So it was a bit of a free hit really for that week. But I need to get a move on very sharpish if I'm going to qualify for the playoffs in my own league. I've had a few injuries in that, and some other teams have done really well at drafting in the middle, whereas I've drafted a few players in the middle that are just scoring average scores, and it's kind of hurting at the minute. I'm just trying to fight fires a little bit. I'm trying to get the best players out, but I can't see it happening too much. But you don't. It all depends on schedules with that. You could play a team that's well out of form, or a team that's on a load of buys, and you can nick a win off number 1 seed very easy. So I'll hopefully get through that. But yeah, hopefully go to Wembley at the weekend and see the Rams. Sorry, not the Rams, Bengals last week. Hopefully see the Texans versus the Jags. Haven't got any players in really for them apart from Carlos Hyde in one league. But so if anyone's at NFL at Wembley, give me a shout. So yeah, that's literally how I'm going to end this video. It was very, very short on NFL and F1 because I know I've been rambling a little bit about FPL for quite a while. But if you've got any questions about NFL, or a lot of people do come and send me a message about who they should start or what they think about this trade. Send me a message. Send me, I'll always answer away. I'll fire back and I'll give my opinion, and I'll tell you what I think, and it's down to you what you do with that advice. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully it'll be a bit shorter next time, because when we talk about FPL, we'll be talking about 1 week instead of 3, and we'll be able to nail down a few more questions, and hopefully some questions I know. I had a question about Bamming on Twitter, and hopefully I answered it there. So brilliant. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Take care.